Welcome to Lanil Havenland Life, and I'm Poetry. If you're new to the channel, my wife and our 6 kids moved from the city, bought and lived in the RV full time, and moved to our land where we're building our homestead up from the ground up. This shoe rack is the shoe rack that was in our RV as we were living full time. If you go back to our earlier episodes, this shoe rack was in it in some of those videos. And I think we had one other one before that, but this one right here, because of the small space that was in the RV, this sat by the front door. That was the only spot that was for it, and it held all of our shoes. We are now going to upgrade this and build a full shoe rack with cubbies, storage, and hooks where you can hang coats, jackets, book bags, or whatever. And if you notice in some of our videos, some of our kids don't even wear shoes. That is life with a family of 8 and us living out here in the country. We are ready to get started on this shoe rack. We got our wood supplies here, got the tools here under cover. It is raining, but that's okay. Again, we are under cover here, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on this shoe rack. This shoe rack will have a seat where you can get comfortable. So we're just marking our spots where that seat will go. We're gonna cut a side panel out here. When we get somewhere in this space right here, we're gonna stop the saw, and then we're gonna hand saw this out so we don't cut too far into this cut on both sides. The 2 side panels with the bench support are cut, and now we're gonna start working on the lower part of this shoe rack / haul tree. We need to cut this board down so we can make a bottom panel for the bottom part of the shoe rack, the interior part of the shoe rack. We're just marking our spot, how long the shoe rack is gonna be. We'll cut these 2 1x3s at the same size as we did the panel up there because they're gonna support that panel from underneath. We got Kristen on the 1s and 2s back here. She's gonna be sanding up the boards for this shoe rack. Meanwhile, I'm gonna be pocket holing some of the parts. We'll be staining them later, but at least we can get these pocket holes so later on we'll get everything screwed in tight. Before we pocket hole the pieces, we need to get this top part cut out, the actual seat bench cut out, and then the panels that are going inside where the shoes are. We need to get those cut out. We need to cut this little niche out right here. On both sides. We'll get this top part of the seat bench sand, a little light sand on here so we can get it ready for staining. Woo, smooth like melted butter. We're not gonna stain the bottom part because you're not even gonna see it. No need to do that. There's gonna be 2 center support dividers in this shoe rack. We're gonna cut those down to size, and then we're gonna sand both sides of that. These 2 support dividers will be holding the top and the bottoms together. So we're gonna mark little spot examples of where we want to pocket hole, so we know exactly what we're doing once we get in there and start pocket holing. And we don't have to mark these, but what I do sometimes is I do mark where I'm pocket holing so I can remember, because once you start joining a whole lot of pieces together, it's easier to pocket hole them in the beginning than to try and go back and pocket hole once whatever you're building is put together, because some areas are hard to get into. You won't see this board. There's 2 of them, but they support underneath, but you won't see them at all. But we need to get those pocket holes. Good thing the ceilings are high. This seat support is going to connect to the seat bench. So we're going to put pocket holes here, here, and this is going to connect the frame, the front frame. So we're going to put pocket holes there, 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 and it's also going to connect the back wall. So we're going to put some here, here, not there because we got a 1x3 right here. So we're gonna bring you up. We're gonna bring you up some. Yeah, yeah, yeah. 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, let's go. Let's get this adjusted a little bit. I don't know what the heck was in there. Let's get that tight up. Let's get that tightened up a little bit. Hello. Now for the fun part, putting together what we've cut so far, sanded and pocket holed together. This entire shoe rack organizer will be stained. What we need to do is stain the bottom portion. It's way easier to stain that before we put the rest of this on. If we put the whole thing together and then we try to stain it, it's gonna be pretty hard to get inside of all the cracks and down under here in these little cubbies. We're gonna take this seat bench off, stain the bottom part at least, and then continue work on this. We got a stain concoction here that's got about a couple of different stains in it that we mixed together to get the color that we wanted. So we're gonna get this mixed up. What's up, man? How you doing? You good? Hi. Hi. You good? You out here chilling? Oh, you wanna drink that? I know you thirsty. All right. Got it nice and thick like we like it. There we go. We'll start at the bottom. Getting these cracks. Yes, it's way easier to get in here without the top being on and all the other parts. There we go. Get all the bottoms here. Yeah, getting these cracks. It's okay if it drips down in the front because it's not gonna be seen anyway. There's gonna be another piece of trim. Actually, a whole lot of trim on here. Once it's all said and done. We'll come up a little bit. We tend to custom make everything here on the Homestead, at least as much as we can. We'll come up a little bit over here as well, and then we'll give it a little wipe down. Get all that excess out. All right. We're not placing the top on, we just got it here so we can stain the top part of it. The bottom part you will not see underneath, you won't see that. But it's just way easier to get all this stained up. Not worried about the front part of this either, because there's gonna be trim there as well. Now this part of the seat bench you will see, so we're gonna go ahead and let this stain sit on here before we wipe it down. We want that to really get down into this wood and soak in there. And then we'll wipe it, give it a nice little wipe down. All right, we'll wipe this down. So we make sure we get this squared up as much as possible. Ooh, look at the mic. Got a little magnet on it. Ah. We're gonna get this squared up. These clamps are a little rusty, but they get the job done. Want to get this as squared up as possible. We got that squared up. We got our pocket holes down here on the side panel so we know exactly where to screw these in. We're gonna get them down here. Get low, get low, get low. Furniture making is a little different than from construction, something like this, where everything in woodworking, every little centimeter counts. You gotta try to be as dead on, because when you're putting stuff together, especially something like drawer slides, a centimeter off can throw everything off when you're trying to get it square. Construction, something like this, or a house or a building, you got a little bit more wiggle room, not with when you're making furniture. Now, we got the bottoms of this in. We could do a dado on those. We might be doing that on a coming soon project, where we do a groove in the middle of the board with dado blades. So that requires taking out the blade that we have in the table saw, putting the dado blades in, and then working from there. I may or may not do that on a coming up project. We'll see how that goes. It's a lot that goes into it, taking that dado in and out and putting the regular saw blade in. If we were doing a whole lot of cabinetry, kind of like when we did in our house, we would definitely break that dado out, because we're gonna be doing a lot of grooves, getting dividers in and panels in and out. All right, we're gonna lock. Now that we know what the bottom measurement is, we need to get this top part of the dividers screwed in. So because we know what it is, we cut this board to the exact same measurement each side, and we'll get this squared up so these dividers are straight up and down. I know you better drop. Now we know what we're working with as far as this back support, this framework, the board that's gonna go here, where there'll be hooks where you can put coats and bags or whatever you wanna hang here. But we know what our height is to work with to get that framework started. One thing that we like about this outdoor workshop is it's out in the open, and you got fresh air you don't gotta worry about being cooped up inside in dust, even though they do have dust collecting machines. We can just be outdoor with the fresh air. We get to hear the birds out here, the animals, just the wildlife. All right, we're gonna get these 1x4s cut down to size. All right, we're gonna mark some spots. Sometimes we forget it's okay. We're gonna mark some spots for where we want these pocket hold at. We do know that there's gonna be, it needs to support the bottom bench and, ooh, hold up. We was just about to add these side panels, but we're gonna do a little switcheroo. We're gonna add a little cubbies up here so we can have a little bit more storage space to add some things too. We try to maximize our storage around here. So we'll probably have to cut those panels down that we just cut. It's okay. And we're going to add a little cubby up here so we can put some things in here if we want to. We're going to take this scrap piece of wood right here and cut it down to size, since we're making a little switcher up to add these top and bottom shelving units, or top and bottom parts of the shelving unit. We're going to get these cut down to size. In order to get this board where we need it to be, if I screw this in, then it's gonna be wobbly. This is probably gonna fall when I try and go over here. I could call somebody in the family to come and help with this, or we could try another way and see if that works, just in case if you're doing a project like this by yourself. What we got is a strap. And we're gonna try, it may or may not work. We wanted to get it to where it's a wee little tight. Okay, almost there. And then we're gonna crank it down a little bit. There we go. Get it right, get it right, get it tight. Boom. We there. We there. All right, and then you just take your clamp and clamp it down. Got those in. We'll keep this strap on here because we still got to put the other one on. All right, we're using these spacers here, and we're going to use them two ways. One here to make sure we got the correct height. Got that drilled in. We'll do the other side. All right, we're going to save you because we're going to put you over here, put you over there. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. Hey, Mr. Ant. This space up here, this cubby is too small to get our drill and a drill bit to screw any screws down. So we are going to nail it in a different way. Make sure we smooth the front and from the back. We want to make sure we're square on both sides. So we're going to bring this forward. Do that there, do that, do that. And we got to get it from the top. Got to change this O-ring out. Now that we know our height, we got the cubbies up here. We got this board here. We're going to use a clamp to kind of hold this in place. And we'll get it screwed in. And this is going to draw everything tight. Wood glue does exactly what it's supposed to, so if you make a mistake, you better hurry up and fix it, because you might have to bang it out. The two side panels are in. We're going to work on the top and the bottom frame pieces. We'll get this glued up and screwed up. It is starting to rain. It is starting to rain. We're doing this bottom piece as well. Now, of course, this isn't only a shoe rack, but it's also a coat hanger, jacket hanger, book bag, bag hanger. If we put hooks up here, there's not enough room to hang the hooks. So we're gonna add another board here, so that'll give us enough room to add some jackets or some whatever, some jackets, some coats, bags in this area. We'll get this set in place. These are little 2-inch spacers. We're adding some support / decorative pieces up in here. Up in here. We'll do the same with this one. Just drill it in. We have 3 little decorative pieces. We'll get those attached and move on to the next step. The framework, not the trim of this, has been completed. We got the background in here. We got the cubbies in here. We got the shoe rack down here. We are gonna go ahead and get this stained up. It keeps sprinkling off and on, so we're gonna try and work around that. Hopefully we can get this stained up, and then we're gonna put the back part of this on. Had to bust the ladder out. Get all up in here. Get it all up in here. All up in these nooks and crannies. All right, once we get out these cubbies, should get a little easier. Now we're gonna need a little more stain on that. Like when we get to this spot, parts like this over here, and this just naturally falls down. You ain't gotta worry about where it lands. We've added 2 more pieces right here. They're not just decorative pieces, we actually need them for what we're about to do. So we're gonna go ahead and get those stained up and then move to the next step. Oh, glad we checked. Oh, goodness, we're just missing all kinda. Check down here too. All right, let's get that cleaned up. Get you blended in, there you go. There you go. Well, all right, y'all. We got Sean here, our oldest son. 4th child?
Third.
Third, dang.
Yeah.
I'm losing track of the own kids.
I almost forgot too.
Yeah, so he's our 3rd oldest. This is Sean, and he's gonna help us cut 2 boards. We made this shoe rack bigger than what we initially planned. And so we're gonna need to rip 2 sheets of plywood, I think, so we can put the wood on the back of this shoe rack. Getting this sanded up and stained up, and then attach it to the back of the shoe rack. And we'll get this tacked in. Back panels are on. Now it's time to deck this out with some trim. Got the trim on. There was a lot of pieces, a lot of cutting, a lot of 45-degree angles, but it is on the shoe rack organizer. We're gonna go ahead and get this stained up now. Just as I was saying that about staining, I looked down and there was 2 missing corner pieces here. We're gonna go ahead and get those nailed in. I'm not sure if you can tell, but it is sprinkling right now. It's raining. But that ain't gonna stop us. As we were staining, we noticed some mistakes / missing parts. And so we need to get those corrected. We forgot the part there, forgot the part there, forgot the part here, and we forgot the part here. We're gonna get those measured, cut up, stapled, and stained in place. Oh, you want those blocks? Here, I'll bring them.
I was going over there.
Well, the blocks are over here. Well, come get your blocks. I like your boots. Super cute. We'll put them in the shoe rack.
Mom, they better in the shoe rack.
They better go in the shoe rack. All right. I was about to put the supplies and materials up, and then when I was staining, I was like, oh shoot. We gotta get these pieces in place. The shoe rack organizer is done. We got the shoe storage down here. We got some cubbies up here. This shoe rack is ready to be used. There was a lot of pieces to this, a lot of framing pieces, but we got it done. The rain was going on and off and on and off, but it held up. Thankful we got this cover where we can work. We don't have to worry about, the weather type of elements. And we're gonna let this dry before we take it in. Let some of those fumes out before we take it inside. And appreciate your help, Sean. Appreciate it.
No problem.
We're gonna let the stain fumes get out and then we'll move it indoors. We applied 3 coats of clear coat protectant on this shoe rack. To see one of our clear coat processes, check out the episode prior to this one when we clear coated our kitchen island. Hooks were also screwed into the shoe rack organizer so you can hang jackets, coats, book bags, or whatever you feel onto this shoe rack organizer.
Thank you for watching Lineal Haven Live, and we will see you on the next episode.
All right. Very good. Appreciate your help.
You're welcome.
All right, we're going to get those shoes packaged up, the ones that y'all ain't wearing anymore.
Yep.
And we'll get those donated.
Nice.
All right.